Throughout history, there have been unreasonable compromises, such as Israel and Palestine, where the Palestinians are still being relocated. Another unreasonable compromise took place right here in the Pacific Northwest on June 15th, 1846. In this place, Cascadia, it was so close to being independent and breaking free from the United States and Canada. But it was divided by a line along the 49th parallel. This compromise took independence away from the American states now known today as Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, as well as the Canadian province of British Columbia. There was a time once where fur traders and Native Americans spoke common language. There was once a time where the region now known today as the Pacific Northwest was called the Oregon Country, a country occupied by both British folk and American folk, as well as the natives. This country was a country that never gained her independence from Canada or the United States. Today we don't call this country the Oregon Country. Instead, we call it Cascadia, since it lies in the Cascade Range. When the compromise was made to divide the Oregon Country, the United States and the United Kingdom disputed over the San Huang Islands. When the line was drawn along the 49th parallel, there was a small peninsula that had a small town on it. This small town is now known as Point Roberts. This town is an abandoned child that has been abandoned by both parents, separated from Canada by border, and separated from the United States by water. Point Roberts is the reason why we need to be an independent country from the United States and Canada. A similar situation happened in Berlin. Just like how there's a line that separates us from our northern brothers and sisters, there was a wall in Berlin that separated the people of Germany. In 1989, the people of Germany flocked to the Berlin Wall. The border guards didn't know what to do. The people of Germany grabbed their sledgehammers and tore down this wall that separated them. Just like how we should erase the line that separates us from our northern brothers. The day the people from all over Cascadia flocked to the border that separates us, just like how the Germans did it in 1989, is the day we'll achieve independence. The people of Cascadia are diverse, but there's a symbol that represents us all. It is a symbol that represents us all, no matter what you look like or sound like. It is the pine tree that represents us all and that we look up to. The pine tree is always green year-round and everlasting. That is why it is called the Evergreen Tree. It is the everlasting spirit of our hearts, our minds, and our souls. The Evergreen Tree branches out in many ways, just like how every individual is different. Some people say identical twins are the same, but they are not. You may think you and another person think the same, but in reality, you don't. It is our differences that make us human. It is being human that unites us as a common people. In Cascadia, we once had a common language and accent that is only spoken and heard by a few. We must take back and retrieve our culture before it dies. While traditions stay the same, time moves forward. Another symbol that represents us is the Lavender Fields in Sequim. The lavender fields are wide and open, just like how our independence will be, and our freedom, once we are an independent country. Every lavender plant smells the same, but no lavender plant is identical. Just like how we are all human, but we are different. In the Cascade Range, there's a mountain that towers them all. This mountain is Mount Rainier. Her majestic peak caps the clouds and reaches ever closer to the great and wide open blue sky, gasping for freedom. These are the symbols we can stand for and look up to, for hope, liberty, and freedom. From the streets of Portland in Oregon and to the streets of Vancouver in British Columbia, I dream of a day where the Pacific Northwest is an independent nation and stands tall and strong just like her majestic symbols. And all the nations of the world see Cascadia as a free and independent nation, with their people singing hand in hand from the great northern pine clad in British Columbia to the streets of Seattle and across the Cascade Range to the Spokane River, and from the Spokane River to the potato fields of Idaho, and from these potato fields back to Portland and Oregon. The song the people shall sing is a song that isn't Canadian or American, but this song is Cascadian, singing how we are a free nation, independent from those who have divided us and stripped our culture from us. The day has come for independence, and it is here. And we are united in a bond strong enough to bend steel and iron while it is still cool. And how with this bond we sing hand in hand of the pine tree which stands tall and strong. With the pine tree it never loses all of its needles, but remains evergreen year-round, just like our spirits. Our spirits shall never die and never will die, for our people are free and independent. When the day comes, the people will rejoice with happiness, and fevers shall run about spreading the word that Cascadia is ruled by the people who inhabit the land.